not necessarily represent the views of this cable station.
Buttonwillow Raceway Park is my favorite Southern California racetrack. To remain completely unbiased and objective for this review is priority number one, but it will be challenging. Buttonwillow reminds me of a go-kart track I raced on as a little boy, so I fostered a love for this track immediately. As the years passed and I raced on other tracks, my fondness and appreciation for the thrilling challenges and never-ending intensity of Buttonwillow grew stronger and stronger. It holds the record as my favorite all-around racetrack for any driver's car, as it relentlessly tests both car and driver through a dizzying mess of hairpin turns and rapid changes in elevation. However, this is an objective review, and my role is to educate and advise on the many pros, cons, and aspects of racetracks and their respective traits and environments. I love driving the Buttonwillow racetrack, but I don't love the drive there, or the drive returning home, or the lack of general resources, or its general location. It's time to dissect the general overall experience you can expect as a racing enthusiast at Buttonwillow Raceway Park. Buttonwillow Raceway Park, Motorsports grounds and facility, opened in 1996, just 10 miles north of downtown Buttonwillow and almost 30 miles north by northwest of Bakersfield in Kern County, California. It is owned and operated by the California Sports Car Club, a division of the Sports Car Club of America. The 3.1-mile-long, 12-turn asphalt racetrack is home to the Super Lap Battle Time Attack and various club racing and championship events throughout the year. The unincorporated community for which the race park is named after is just south of the track, which was originally called Buena Vista when it was founded in 1895, later changing its name to Buttonwillow after the lone buttonbush landmark that is now the Buttonwillow tree, a California historical landmark. Buttonwillow quickly grew a reputation as the cotton country with its plentiful abundance of cotton plants in the area. The Yokut Indians who settled in this area over a century ago would not approve of the unfortunate circumstances of Buttonwillow hosting 3 toxic waste dumps, which still plague the community to this day. This small region of Southern California has a diverse and very bittersweet history. Buttonwillow Raceway Park is accessible via the Interstate 5 or 5 freeway just outside of Buttonwillow. In terms of major transportation and transit, the 5 freeway is the only primary method of travel to Buttonwillow, regardless of which direction you are driving in from to reach the facility. There are smaller, less traveled connecting highways in the area, but one way or another, you're going to cruise the 5 freeway to find the Motorsports Park. Although the 5 freeway is well traversed and easy to access, Buttonwillow is located in the middle of nowhere. Excuse me, I mean Kern County. Prepare yourself for a highly uneventful and tedious drive, as this section of freeway running directly up the middle of California is unbelievably boring to drive, even for 5 minutes. Buttonwillow may be located just over a quarter mile from the Lerdo exit off of the 5 freeway, but it's an absolute dumpster fire of a drive to get there. Buttonwillow receives a 5 in the category of ease of accessibility. Where are you going to go if a race is canceled, your car breaks down, or you change your mind about racing? Nowhere. You're going nowhere because you're in the middle of nowhere. To be more precise, Buttonwillow Raceway Park is located east-northeast of San Luis Obispo, the biggest city halfway between San Francisco and Los Angeles. If you need to call an audible and change race day plans, you're turning around and going home, or in the direction from which you began your journey. As previously stated, there are nearby highways and state routes to call an audible. However, they also lead to absolute voids of California nothingness. Please heed my warning. There are no audibles. See, you travel through Buttonwillow on your way to San Francisco or LA. This area is only a destination for those seeking racing adventures at Buttonwillow Raceway Park. Buttonwillow receives a 1 in the category of Audibility. As your one and only audible, the 5 freeway is the primary means to access the racetrack and simultaneously serves as the only primary audible alternate route. Unless you require home and garden supplies, at Kern Machinery, directly across from the racetrack, availability to resources is scarce in the surrounding area. Other than the snack bar restaurant inside the Motorsports Park to offer food and beverages, and the nearby town of Buttonwillow offering lodging, food and beverage, and basic amenities, you are on your own. This is a bring your own everything type situation. You may be okay with the food and beverage offerings from the Motorsports Park restaurant, but please make sure you bring everything you may possibly need for your vehicle for a proper race day. Resources for your race day vehicle are scarce in the area, with the exception of the full-service tire and fuel center located on premises. There are available RV hookups and day garages on site to alleviate hassle and promote an efficient overall racing experience. Outside of the park, there are very few resources to accompany your journey or pull you out of a jam or bad situation. Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a 5.5 in availability of resources, as the Motorsports Park itself will fulfill most of your race day needs.
Obviously, look at this. And the brakes.
With a high investment score of 9 or 10, denoting a very light investment with minimal financial concern, and a low score of 1 or 2 denoting a very serious or major investment, Buttonwillow Raceway Park falls somewhere just below an average score. Lodging, food and beverage, and amenities are reasonably priced in town, and the same goes for the restaurant and catering services within the Motorsports Park. However, the more hefty investment arrives in the extra preparation, resources, and supplies you will need to bring as a precautionary measure due to the fact that Buttonwillow Raceway Park is located in an empty void of space with nothing around. Although there is a fantastic and well-equipped garage on site with knowledgeable and helpful employees, with a supply of fuel, tires, and duct tape, it is wise to bring everything you need and then some. Don't second guess anything, and if you think you need to bring a second set of wheels and tires, do it. This fairly high-speed track will chew through your tires on every turn, and you'll tighten your lugs down good after your first experience over Phil Hill. Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a 4.5 in the category of investment.
Get ready to cringe. That's what our splitter looks like underneath.
Other than the cow shit smell in the air and the obnoxiously long drive to the track, Buttonwillow Raceway Park offers the racing enthusiast a very respectable and satisfying quality experience. The park has everything you need and nothing more, with a surprisingly great view from the Race Central Tower, clean rental garages, decent restrooms and showers, a well-equipped RV park, good food at the restaurant, a well-staffed and equipped tire shop and repair garage, and easy-to-navigate property grounds. Most importantly, the quality of your overall racing experience will exceed your expectations first time on track. Whether you signed up for a club racing event or private track day, you will marvel at the course and the level of intensity and exhilaration you encounter, even as a beginning or intermediate level driver. The first time driving the course will feel somewhat surreal as you tune out the world and get into the zone of navigating turn after unrelenting turn. Not only will you get your money's worth, but drivers at all skill levels will feel accomplished with a sense of pride after conquering the course, session after session. Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a very respectable 8 in the category of quality experience. Buttonwillow Raceway Park may be challenging to get to, but the real challenge awaits you as you exit the off-ramp. I'm not talking about the I-5 freeway off-ramp, but rather the first turn you negotiate leaving the pit area when beginning a race. Whether racing clockwise or counterclockwise, or delighting in the over 46 combinations of race and go-kart track configurations, Buttonwillow is infused with an inherent discerning complexity of deceiving turns, blistering fast straights, exhausting sweeper and S-curves, and sections of track that change elevation and direction at the blink of an eye. Driver ability, dexterity, stamina, and patience are maxed out at every turn, pushing both car and driver to question how and why such a devastatingly demanding course was designed in the first place. Make absolutely sure you are awake and aware driving this course, as the off-ramp, cotton corners, bus stop, truck stop, Phil Hill, and the sweeper will extract every ounce of sweat from your body, negotiating the various forces of said elements. You better lock everything down for the sunset turn prior to the home stretch, as many cars and drivers have been sniped by Sunset's elusive and deceiving hard left turn. Even the best drivers in the world are humbled by this race course in any configuration, as Buttonwillow Raceway Park garners and earns the respect of anyone who dares to place their 2 or 4 wheels and tires on the asphalt. For its discerning challenges and undeniably high level of driving aptitude and skill required to clock a fast lap time, Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a well-deserving 10 in the category of challenge. Do you know what's amazing about Buttonwillow Raceway Park? It is just as fun as it is challenging to drive. Audible gasps and screams can be heard coming from me all the way back at Race Central as I navigate the chaotic character of Buttonwillow's main course, race number 1. The feeling of accomplishment and confidence arises as you become more familiar with the course, and the more comfortable you are, the more fun you begin to have. The race number 1 configuration is that really difficult exam in school that you spent all semester studying for and feel a rush of excitement after you complete and conquer it. There's never a dull moment on track, and you'll be so locked in the zone on not launching into outer space at Phil Hill that there's no time to think about if you remember to turn off the coffee maker or close the garage door at home before you left for the racetrack. A fun track requires many elements and a wide variety of alternating forces, which place Buttonwillow in an elite class of racetracks, providing world-class challenge with unimaginable and endless fun. This is a track which will make the grumpiest person smile ear to ear and keep driving enthusiasts coming back as often as possible, or as much as their wallets will allow. If you are a racing enthusiast who loves to have fun and a great time on track, Buttonwillow Raceway Park absolutely should be on your bucket list of motorsports parks to visit. The drive on the 5 is worth it. Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a perfect 10 in the category of fun for providing an exhilarating experience for drivers of all skill levels. Buttonwillow, in any configuration, poses safety concerns for drivers at all skill levels. There are several areas on track which are notorious and somewhat infamous for violently sending cars off track into the rough and unforgiving desert landscape, or worse, ejecting the cars into the wall at Sunset Turn just entering the home stretch. This track deserves respect at all times from any driver at any skill level. Getting too comfortable, relaxed, or complacent on track has the potential to create havoc for the driver, underestimating the almighty Buttonwillow. Talk to anyone who has traversed this course, and they will more than likely have a story about a scare, thrill, or moment of going off track that is in their greatest hits albums of crazy experiences racing on Buttonwillow's main course. In general, Buttonwillow is a safe course, with no major barriers or traps to get caught in or around, with the only exception being the north wall alongside the finish line. Phil Hill will require patience and impeccable timing, as it is easy to misjudge the upward and slightly outward banking turn, as it provides ejector airtime dropping down to the right. Look alive and stay focused, and you will be in the perfect mindset for a great racing experience. Buttonwillow scores a 7.5 in the category of safety.
Us Californians can't handle the cold.
Woo, it's free.
Well, what's there to say about the scenery? Buttonwillow is a very nice track, and the Motorsports Park does satisfy the five senses in providing an authentic racing experience. However, outside of Buttonwillow Raceway Park lies an endless void of nothingness, surrounded by an infinite feeling of dread and despair. A metaphorical black hole of space where time and distance cease to exist. If you've ever desired to go off-grid and live off the land, this general area will have you changing your mind, running for a concrete building in the middle of a traffic-congested city. In fact, I'd rather be lost in Death Valley for a week with nothing but water and underwear before I spent 1 hour of quality, meaningful time in the surrounding area outside of Buttonwillow Raceway Park. Other than visiting the California historical landmark Buttonwillow Tree, your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to get in and get out of the Buttonwillow general area before and after you engage in racing activities. Although the area's climate is well suited for year-round racing events, with temperature fluctuations around 35 degrees Fahrenheit in winter to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit in summer, Buttonwillow Raceway Park truly defines the popular phrases diamond in the rough or needle in the haystack. You get the point. Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a 4.5 in the category of scenery. Let the amateurs race on streets and test their cars on Sunday morning canyon fun runs. You go to Buttonwillow Raceway Park. Why? Because you know no other Southern California collection of asphalt is going to painstakingly and thoroughly test you and your car to extreme limits and monumental attention to detail, quite like Buttonwillow. Any and all track configurations offer ample opportunities to subject your vehicle to obliterating G-forces and provide room to wind out your first 4 gears with massive driver approval and satisfaction. Test and tune events and opportunities at Buttonwillow Raceway Park are always well received by driving enthusiasts, professional racers, discerning race teams, and automobile manufacturers for providing resources as an all-in-one race vehicle diagnosis and testing facility. Upward and outward banking turns, jarring S-curves, downward sloping turns, and stress-relieving straightaways will supply car and driver every chance to load up suspension, examine tire grip and traction, test for aerodynamic efficiencies and deficiencies, and tune engine characteristics and dynamics for optimal track performance. Buttonwillow always has its watchful eye on the driver as well, demanding full attention, an extreme level of awareness, and unrelenting focus as it pushes and pulls on the driver's every nerve. So, you think you and your track day vehicle are elite racing athletes? Buttonwillow may have something to say about that. Buttonwillow Raceway Park scores a perfect 10 in the category of testing. Don't let the numbers fool you. This elite track facility, offering world-class racing experiences, can't help it was built in the middle of a toxic waste dump. This is a motorsports park you cannot judge by its surroundings. The 3 categories most important to racing enthusiasts, challenge, fun, and testing, all received the highest score, a perfect 10, to denote and underline Buttonwillow Raceway Park's perfectly executed and engineered racetrack configurations. It is imperative driving enthusiasts the world over place Buttonwillow Raceway Park on their bucket list of racing destinations. In fact, I'll go as far and say Buttonwillow Raceway Park is a destination motorsports park based solely on the driving experience alone, ignoring the depressing wasteland around it, suitable as a Fallout downloadable content side quest map. Buttonwillow Raceway Park is a diamond of a track in the desolate rough of Kern County, California. It is the shining needle amongst unnecessary smelly amounts of haystacks. Despite the score and the smell in the air, Buttonwillow Raceway Park is my personal and subjective favorite track and racing experience in Southern California. Buttonwillow Raceway Park's final score is 66 out of 100. What are your opinions of Buttonwillow Raceway Park? Please let me know down in the comment section. Thank you for watching the Buttonwillow Raceway Park Racetrack Review.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
Nobody has ever said you get what you ask for. I slam on the back door, walking away from truth. And when I see it falling apart, you know it's time. Fire it up. Nobody has ever said you get what you ask for. I slam on the back door, walking away from truth. When thinking like you're falling apart, you know it's time to fire it up.